I am very excited to be here to announce Oklahoma's next Attorney General. To become a top 10 state, we have to have all forms of government clicking on all cylinders. That's why it was so important to me to find someone who was highly competent in the law, but more importantly, I was looking for someone with high moral character who will do the right things for the right reasons and never for personal gain. As the state's top law enforcer, we needed someone willing to fight and defend what's best for all 4 million Oklahomans. I owed it to the people of this state to be deliberate and prayerful in the process to find the next Attorney General. So we cast a very wide net. But before I go any further, I want to recognize Acting Attorney General Don Cash and all of the hardworking men and women at the Attorney General's office. They've faithfully served our state well during this transition. And I know for the past 6 weeks, there's been some uncertainty, but I want to thank them for their continued work every single day. Today, we start a new chapter. When Oklahomans elected me, they put their trust in me to choose leaders who share our values. And I'm very excited to announce that I'm appointing the next Attorney General as John O'Connor. I know John's heart, and I know he's the right leader at the right time. He's a strong man of faith. He's a true conservative, a great attorney, and a tireless worker. I have the utmost and complete confidence in John O'Connor. John's been an attorney here in Tulsa for 40 years, most recently as a partner at Hall Estill. I've personally known John for over 20 years. He was a mentor to me when I was a young CEO here in Tulsa running my company. One of the things he taught me was the importance of relationships. He models doing life together with a community better than anybody I've ever met. I've also worked with him in his role as the state liaison for the National Prayer Breakfast. John he's led a group of Oklahomans to Washington, D.C. to pray for our state and our nation for decades. One of those trips that I went on planted the seed in me to run for governor because I felt the calling to lead by example and serve my state with high character. Like me, John's not a politician. He's never ran for office. He's been focused on his family, his job, his community. He served on board of directors for an adoption agency named Dillon International. He spent 2 terms as president and director of Tulsa's Ronald McDonald House. He was elected president of the Tulsa Rotary Club. He served on the board of trustees for OSU Tulsa. President Trump trusted John and appointed him and nominated him to be a federal judge in 2018. Senator Jim Inhofe and Senator James Lankford both supported his nomination. Senator Inhofe said, "John has been known as an attorney of the highest competency, honesty, and integrity." Senator Lankford added that John is a very respected attorney in our state. John O'Connor is regularly listed as one of Tulsa's top lawyers. He received an AV, anonymous peer review rating with Martindale-Hubbell since 1995. That described as the highest ethical and legal ability rating based on the rating of his peers. John is a loyal husband to his wife, Lucia. She's a wonderful lady, wonderful partner, and former Miss Oklahoma from the great state of Oklahoma. She met John at Oklahoma State, and they've been married for 43 years. I'm so glad that you're here today, Lucia. John grew up in Tulsa. He's the son of a railroad worker and one of 6 children. A couple of his brothers are with us today. He and Lucia now have 4 grown children and 10 grandkids. It's now my honor to introduce to you the next Attorney General of the great state of Oklahoma, Mr. John O'Connor.
Well, thank you. Thank you all for being here, and thank you, Governor, for selecting me to serve 4 million Oklahomans as the chief attorney, prosecuting their interests and representing the state of Oklahoma. I am humbled that you selected me and honored at the same time to have this opportunity to represent Oklahomans. My duties will include prosecuting the rights of Oklahomans and the state, representing the state of Oklahoma when it's a party, representing Oklahomans in regard to utility rates, protecting them from insurance fraud, and working with our governor and legislature to bring honest, outstanding governance to Oklahomans. I want to introduce, the governor introduced my wife, Lucia, and best friend. As he said, we'll celebrate 43 years of marriage later this month, and I'm the luckiest man alive that she said I do. Obviously, it was a moment of weakness. We have 4 children. I think our daughter Kristen is here, and we're excited for that. And we have 10 grandchildren, as the governor said. I have been fortunate to serve and represent many good people and companies over the last 40 years, and I'm grateful to them for showing their confidence in me to represent them and protect their rights. I'm grateful to have worked with outstanding lawyers and other professionals at Hall Estel, at Newton O'Connor, Turner and Ketchum, and Rosenstein, Fist and Ringgold. I'm also grateful for the judges before whom I've appeared. It's so incredibly important to our system that we trust our judicial system. And we've all been honored in Tulsa particularly, and in Oklahoma City, and other judges around the states, that we can trust in our judicial system. They're honest, good, hardworking people. I'm very excited to step into this new role as the Attorney General, and I'm looking forward to working with the attorneys and staff in that office. I've never run for public office before, but Lucia and I have had the privilege of being involved in community service to those in need in our great city. We look forward now to expanding our efforts and serving all Oklahomans. Having this announcement here with you today on Rotary Plaza is very important to me. Rotarians have a motto, service above self. That's always been a good motto for me. It's been a guiding principle in my years of practice, and it's going to be a guiding principle in an ongoing way as your Attorney General. There's much work to be done, as you know. You don't have to read a newspaper before you realize that there are some very serious issues pending that will affect our state. And I'm honored to and excited to get to work on your behalf in those regards. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you, Governor, again for your confidence, and I look forward to serving each one of you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, John. Thank you, Lucia. Thank you to your family for being here. We'll open it up to a few questions for myself or John O'Connor. You know, when I think about, I casted a very wide net, and I owed it to Oklahomans to, number one, focus on someone with really high character and someone that has an extreme history of, you know, the acumen in the practice of law. And so those were the things we looked at. And John O'Connor by far stood out among all the people that we interviewed across the state of Oklahoma as the person that fits that bill the best.
So the question is about the McGirt case. Well, first of all, I am going to be studying the positions that we've taken, but I'm going to, and this is a very important case where the U.S. Supreme Court, in my opinion, has either made a very serious error or at least has written an opinion in a way that can be construed, I think, unintentionally in a very broad way. The case was supposed to be limited to major federal crimes and criminal prosecution. It's being used by various groups to expand that into civil actions, such as whether the state has the authority to levy taxes. You saw that the state filed an action against the Biden administration because the Biden administration has taken the position that the state of Oklahoma doesn't have the authority over mining in Oklahoma on the basis of McGirt. So the question, if the question is, will we oppose McGirt? The answer is yes. If the question is, will we seek the overturning by the Supreme Court of McGirt? The answer is yes. Will we try to work with the tribes? Absolutely.
So I got vaccinated 116 days ago, I think, today. I don't know if you remember seeing the gun show when I got vaccinated, but I was leading by example. And now vaccines are available for all Oklahomans. Around 95% of those that are hospitalized nationally are from the unvaccinated. And 85% of Oklahomans over the age of 65 have received at least one dose. I think almost 60% of Oklahomans, adult Oklahomans, have received at least one dose. So it's available for everyone. I trust Oklahomans. We're going to continue to provide information and be transparent with all of our data. And I encourage Oklahomans to make that decision about their health care with their physicians and their doctors. Not planning on declaring an emergency. And again, this is about personal responsibility. This is about freedoms. And so nothing in the legislation last year prevents a parent from sending their child to school with a mask on or prevents anyone from having their child under 12 get vaccinated. The difference is we're not going to mandate that somebody else has to send their 4-year-old to school with a mask or someone else has to get their 4-year-old vaccinated. I believe that's where Oklahomans line up on this. This is something that you should make these decisions in consultation with your medical professionals, and I've been consistent on that for the entire time. I'm so proud of Oklahomans, how we've handled this, and we'll continue to monitor it really closely, and we'll provide that transparent data with all of Oklahomans to make the best decisions for them and their families. Well, I disagree with your terminology. Like I said, over 85% of Oklahomans 65 and plus have been vaccinated. Vaccines have been available widely for anybody that wants one, in all 77 counties for months and months and months now. We led the country in getting those vaccines out. We were top 10 in getting those out before everybody. 60% of adults now have been vaccinated in Oklahoma. So it's available if you want it. And again, anybody that wants a vaccine can get it. And I encourage you to make those decisions with your healthcare professionals. Thank you, guys.